Welcome to Orange County Power Players, where we spotlight the personal, professional, and financial success stories of OC's top leaders. Here's your host, Danny Flores.
Welcome back to OC Power Players, where I interview some of the most successful people in Orange County. I'm Danny Flores, your host, and today's honored guest is Chris Simonsen, zooming in from Santa Ana. Chris began his professional career in finance roles from accountant in a large CPA firm to CFO of Auto Club. He joined Orangewood in 2007 as a CFO and became CEO in 2013. He loves that Orangewood has a wide variety of programs that support young people in making improvements in their lives. Seeing a smile on a youth's face after one of their successes, no matter how large or small, it is always rewarding. Chris loves music. He has seen his favorite band, Metallica, more than 35 times. Amazing. In 2007, he made a life-changing decision to leave private industry to join Orangewood Foundation, a large nonprofit in Orange County whose mission is to serve teens and young adults in need, many of whom have spent time in the child welfare system and are struggling with homelessness. This is one of the best decisions of his life. Early on in his role as a CFO, he led the effort to navigate the 2008-2010 recession. During that time, he was intensely focused on managing large declines in donations while still meeting the increasing needs of our youth. In 2013, he was promoted to the CEO role, which has provided him new leadership and growth opportunities and a greater ability to impact the future of the organization and those they serve. Personally, he has worked extremely hard to consistently practice servant leadership, principles to serve the youth in Orangewood team. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Danny. I appreciate you having me on.
Yes, that's quite a journey there in what you have done, but even more so in what you're doing now.
Well, thank you.
So tell us a little bit of the beginning and how your career evolved, and then we want to hear about how what impact you guys are having in these young adults that need the help.
Yeah, so kind of like you said, I had a successful career in finance and had moved up through different companies to the point where I was at AAA as the CFO of a $3 billion organization, and I was making a lot of money. I was getting big bonuses, had great benefits, and I was 40 years old, and I could look at my career and say I've kind of accomplished what I set out to accomplish when I graduated college, and I've got a very robust finance executive career, and so the only thing that was missing though was really enjoying where I was working, and the culture was just not a great fit for me. And so I didn't think I could really stick it out another 15 years till retirement age of 55, and wasn't sure what I was going to do. And I got a letter on my desk one day that a nonprofit needed a CFO, and I applied and came and met with all the people at Orangewood Foundation and just loved the mission. I had done a lot of work volunteering with youth as an adult, with my 4 children, with their sports teams, with Indian guides, Indian princesses. I just loved working with kids, and so it felt like a great fit. And they were concerned about me coming from a very, very large, complex organization down to a small $7 million nonprofit, but they had a great goal of building a charter school to get more foster youth through high school. So I thought that would be really exciting. And I just thought my skills would be able to benefit the organization a lot. And in turn, my work-life balance would get back in order. I could be more present as my 4 kids were growing up. And so it was a win-win all the way around.
Yeah, I know that sounds like an amazing journey. I'm going to take one step back for anybody who's listening and maybe starting out their career. What what do you have to do as you start your career to move up into a CFO position? What do you have to learn? What do you have to prove? How hard is that? Because that's that from starting from like nothing, you just out of college to actually running an organization, it's a big responsibility. So what does that look like, and what kind of challenges do you have to overcome as you move? Because I am sure there's a lot of things you have to learn on your way up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it takes a lot of hard work, number one. Uh, when I worked right out of college at Ernst and Young, those big accounting firms, they work their people very hard. You learn a lot if you're working for good people, which I had the fortunate benefit of doing. And then, at some point you have to decide, am I still growing? Am I still learning new things? And that if that organization's not able to provide you new opportunities, sometimes you have to leave. So, when I left there, I became an assistant controller at an insurance company. That was great. I had people directly reporting to me. I was learning a lot of new things about private industry. And I worked there for 7 years, but at that point, I kind of realized, I probably need a new challenge. And that's when AAA reached out to me. And so then I go from this medium-sized organization now to a very large organization. My areas of responsibility were continued to grow, and the AAA executives saw how hard I worked. I was willing to take on new projects, and I think that's something that, as new people are starting out their careers, you might be busy on something, and maybe they ask you to
Mhm.
do something that's not exactly within your job description, but
Mhm.
if it's something you're going to learn a lot of about that topic, and you're going to provide a lot of benefit to the company, I was always willing to raise my hand and say, hey, I'll take that project on, because it helped me learn more about our
Right.
organization and showed the leaders in our organization that, I was very committed, I was dedicated, I was willing to help out any way I could. So I think that helped me in my career getting to where I ultimately am today. When I was the CFO here at Orangewood, I was in charge of those type of responsibilities like finance and IT and facilities and
Hmm.
HR. So when our CEO left, our board of directors was a little uncertain about, can this finance person be the face of the organization? Can they fundraise? Can they do all the things? Can they work with our program officer? They don't have a program background. And I am
Hmm.
a little unique in that I am kind of a unicorn in the nonprofit world. Most CEOs either come out of the program world or they come out of the
Hmm.
fundraising and development track. And for me to come out of finance was a leap of faith by our board of directors, but I'm glad they had confidence in me. And I think the performance of our organization over the last 12 years and how much we've grown and how many more youth we're serving and the bigger impact we have, I think tells them that they made the right choice.
No, that's a really good explanation. And like how you said, as you're trying to move up, don't stick with your job description, do above and beyond because you learn and you get noticed. I actually have a friend who has a fairly large organization, and he tells me that when people ask him what they have to do to get a raise, his answer to that is work above your pay grade. And which I think is a great attitude, right? That's what gets you ahead. It's just doing what others are not doing to get ahead. So that's awesome, and how you've landed in what you do now. So now in your organization, tell us a little bit about what's happening with the youth. I think people need to hear a little bit about that, the struggles that they're going through, and then tell us a little bit about the programs that you have that are able to help them learn to be successful in life when life has been so tough on them
Sure.
as they're growing.
Yeah, well, everybody's aware, the economy right now, things keep going up in price, rent, groceries, gas, all the things that we use every day. And our young people are struggling just like everybody else, but the difference is they don't have a family network or parents there to kind of help support them and supplement some of their needs. So they rely heavily on Orangewood Foundation to be that support network for them. A lot of them have come out of the foster care system, or they're experiencing homelessness, or we also have some programming dedicated to survivors of human trafficking. And all of those groups really have had unstable upbringings in their childhood. They don't really have a good network of adults that they can rely on. And they kind of feel like they're on their own, and they're trying to make it and do the best they can. But a lot of them fall behind in school because of other instability. They don't have a lot of faith in what adults are telling them to do, or have a hard time trusting adults. So really the first thing we do when we encounter a young person is just try to make them feel safe, make them understand that, hey, we're here to help, build up that trusting relationship. And then once we get that built up, and that can take weeks or even months, then we can start asking them, okay, so what are some of your goals? What are some of the things you want us to help you work on? How can we support you in achieving these goals? Because it's not about what we think is best for these young people. We want them, once they've gotten out of uh, their where they are as far as just trying to make it day by day, survival mode. It's very hard to think about long-term goals when you're just trying to feed yourself or find a safe place to sleep every night. So
Right.
once we get them out of that zone, then they can start really working with our team to start setting some short and long-term goals that we can help them with, whether that's around housing or employment or mental health. We've got programming that addresses all of those areas, and we just want to work with them one or two goals at a time, keep helping them make forward progress, to the point where they've got a pretty stable situation that they can manage themselves.
Okay, so I have three questions.
Sure.
One, how do these troubled teens or kids find you? Two, do you guys provide shelter for them or help them find shelter? And three, what are the age ranges that you guys cater to?
Yeah, so I'll answer the last question first. So we focus on teens and young adults. So generally, most of our programs are for 16 to 25-year-olds. We do have a few programs that go below 16, and we don't cut off services right at 25 for everybody. Sometimes some of our programs, they'll continue to get services till they're 26 or 27. So that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of our sweet spot. We've kind of been recognized in the county as the leaders in helping teens and young adults.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we start. Uh, as far as shelter for our young people, we have 7 transitional housing sites. So we don't run emergency shelter operations. We do a lot of housing navigation and referrals to programs that exist in the county.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not a housing area that we focus on. We focus more on, once you leave a shelter, getting someone in a transitional living situation for like 18 to 24 months, where we can start
Mm-hmm.
teaching them life skills, how to live on your own, how to budget, how to build up a savings account. So we subsidize their rent, and we have case managers that work with them on skills they're going to need to then move into more permanent housing in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have 7 of those different housing sites that we are operating. And then we have a new strategic plan that we put into place earlier
Mm-hmm.
this year. And we have 5 goals that we're working on. And the biggest one there is housing expansion. So we want to create more housing opportunities for our young people. We've got 2 projects that are going to be coming online in the next 7 to 8 months that do provide that more permanent housing for young people.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to continue to devote some more resources and raise some more money to create more housing opportunities for our young people, because that's really the biggest need they have. Once they have stable housing, then they can start thinking about employment. They can start thinking about going back to school, going to community college, getting their degree, going to a trade school and learning a trade. So the housing is really kind of a very important piece of the puzzle. And then, the other thing is we've started doing a lot more work in the mental health area, where we have created a network of mental health professionals that really understand teens and young adults and the trauma that they've gone through. And we fundraise, money to support those mental health sessions. And that's really helped a lot of our young people get past some of the trauma that they've experienced. And once they feel better about that and are able to manage those thoughts, then they can really start focusing more on working with us on their goals. So, we're always looking to fill gaps in whatever needs the young people have, and that's ever-changing, evolving environment. But we're seeing more and more young people coming to our drop-in center, and you asked about how they hear from us. The homeless community is very tight, and they talk to one another, and we get a lot of word-of-mouth referrals for young people. Hey, go over to Orangewood Foundation. Those people over there are really cool. It's a safe place. You can go talk to them and get help. We have other nonprofits in Orange County that recognize us as kind of the leaders in serving young adults and teens. So they refer some of their participants over to us. The 211 line in the county refers people to us, and then also the social workers at the county that work with foster youth. We get introduced to a lot of the foster youth when they're teenagers to help them build up some independent living skills through a program we have. And so when they turn 18, 19, 20, if they've gone through those programs with us, they are familiar with other programs that we can offer them as they're getting into young adulthood.
No, thank you so much for that explanation. It makes sense. And it's good to hear that teens that need that little bit of guidance that are struggling can go somewhere. Now, I would guess that your funding is limited, and maybe that makes your capacity of servicing teens limited as well. What does that look like as far as your capacity to being able to serve a certain amount of teens because of that? How does funding get limited? And how does somebody who wants to contribute?
Sure. So Orangewood Foundation is a bit unique as a nonprofit in Orange County because many nonprofits rely heavily on just government grants and government funding to run their programs. And then there's other nonprofits that are 100% fundraising. They don't have any government money, and they're just getting money from private donors. We are a mixture of both. So when I took over as CEO, we were about 85% private fundraising. And I challenged our team. I said, look, we need to be more balanced. We need to get more government money in here so we can help more young people. And so today we're more like 55% private fundraising and 45% county, state, and a little bit of federal grant and money from the government to run programs. So we like that good balance. If a contract from the government doesn't allow us to provide assistance to a youth in a certain way, we can tap into our fundraising dollars. The need continues to grow. The fastest growing group of homeless individuals in Orange County are young adults. There was a 31% increase when they did the last point in time count. So we do have to continue to bring in more revenue every year. We look for new government grants that are in alignment with our mission and the work we do, and we apply for those. And we also just need to continue to always grow our private donor base and look for new private foundations or family foundations that would be interested in our mission. We rely on our board members to introduce us to their professional and personal networks to get them interested in what we do. We do a lot of work with corporations, church groups, friends, just coming in and supporting the work we do. The more that we can get people to volunteer and cook meals for us versus us having to go out and buy meals for our young people or donate clothing. We have some great partners like Tilly's that donate lots of brand new clothing to us for our clothing closet. We have companies that donate furniture to us like Living Spaces and Tangram Interiors. So the more we can get donated to us, the less we have to use our dollars to buy those things. So
Right.
we're just always looking to build new relationships. There are a lot of people out there that are very generous and philanthropic. We've been around 45 years, so we do have a good donor base. But every year, just keeping our doors open and giving our staff, merit increases and increases in benefits, that's like $600,000 of new money that we've got to find every year just for that. Not even talking about new programming or expansion. So we're a business like everybody else. Our salaries and benefits and insurance and all those things go up every year. And a lot of our government contracts don't go up every year. They're just a flat amount for 3 or 5 years. So we rely on the community to help us any way they can. And if you go on our website, we've got lots of different ways you can help us and partner with us. Obviously, cash donations are great, and you can do that easily on our website. But we also have a lot of different volunteer opportunities and needs that you can go on our website and sign up for. Our biggest and most popular one is getting a group of 5 or 6 people to come in and cook lunch or dinner for our young people that are struggling and experiencing homelessness. They come to us for hot meals, and the people love coming in and cooking for the youth, and it's a great team building activity, and they get to interact with our youth and see the gratitude that they have for them coming in and providing them a hot meal. So we've got lots of ways that you can get involved, and just reach out to us on our website at info@orangewood.org. The email address is there. Please start following us on social media. We're very active on, Facebook and Instagram. And just tell other people about the great work we're doing. And if you're passionate about what we do, or you just want to learn more, please reach out to us and bring your friends.
Thank you so much for that, Chris. Thanks for sharing the stories of your professional journey. Thanks for sharing what your organization does to help the youth, which I think is super important. Sometimes the services that you provide and other organizations provide are life changers for the youth that sometimes may be lost and didn't have what we had as far as stable homes, parents, the upbringing. Not everybody has the same chances, but maybe with the right help and the right people, that changes for them, and they can become, successful, productive adults in society and can live a good life. So once again, thanks so much for coming on the show, sharing that with us. Congratulations on your work. And to our audience, please go to ocpowerplayers.com and follow us on your favorite channel. Thanks so much, Chris.
Thank you for having me, Danny. I really enjoyed talking with you. And for everyone out there, please, if you have an interest in helping young people that really need some help, please go to our website. It's orangewoodfoundation.org, and we'd love to get you involved.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Danny. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Orange County Power Players. Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at ocpowerplayers.com/guest.